You've worked out 3 albums already?
Four.
Four.
I would call them 4 albums, but my label didn't want to consider one of them a proper album because I would have been off the label after that. And so that's The Babe in the Saddle. That's 8 songs. I feel it's a cohesive. I mean, it's longer than the first Strokes record. And so I think it's a full record. But yeah, we have those. 4 with 3 albums. We have the EP, The Babe in the Saddle. I couldn't sit in the studio for 5-6 months, and work on an album. Yeah, I don't see much of a point in that. See, I try to record and produce as much as possible. On another hand, I could dry up at any minute, so I just need to, like, as long as the juices are flowing, need to keep them going. These emotions and stuff, as opposed to other musicians that might just say a few words and you don't really, it doesn't really move you. But I think clearly less is more. I think and that's going to go back to people like Johnny Cash. I mean, people like the Carter family. I mean, they almost did the same exact thing on every single song, and for some reason I can put it in and I can listen to every single one, and each one has meaning. That's weird. That's weird. Doug Marsh. There's a few people like that who really like the guitar gods, of my time, I suppose, of this generation of musicians. It's definitely a hard thing. I mean, I don't look back at my life and...
You're 27.
Yeah, I'm 27.
And it looks like you have 3 lives already.
She says it all the time, and she always wonders. She wants to make a timeline of my life and figure out how the hell I fit in so much stuff into a short amount of time. I guess the easiest way that I got into, troubles, I had an older brother, and in one instance he introduced me to some amazing bands, and we had some good times, but on the other hand, he kind of introduced me to drugs, and drugs are doing the things that I did. Somehow I know that it did, change me and mold me into the man that I am today. The fact that I realized one day that the only person that was going to save my ass was my own, and nobody cared as much. Nobody was going to care about me as much as I did, and so when I realized that, things really began to pick up and change, because that's a daunting thing to realize. I mean, it's not like I wasn't raised in a poor household. My dad was a doctor of psychology. He is a great dude. I mean, he bought me my first guitar. He taught me my first guitar chords, and I think he's excruciatingly proud of me, and proud of the man that I've become. And he loves her to death, and so you can't beat that. When he's hated every other human he's ever seen. But he's an interesting dude. He almost looks exactly like me, and it's really creepy. And I'm sure as I get older, it'll get even creepier. Trying to help people not feel like they're so alone. And I think that I'm a reasonable candidate for that, because I don't bullshit. I'm really not interested in that. It's a waste of time, and I've spent a lot of my life, and I know a lot of people spend a lot of their life just beating around the bush.
Well, we've got a strange forecasting, because you're happy nowadays.
Yeah, I am. I don't think it's going to affect. I think the only way it's going to affect my music is in a positive way. The best example of that is when I sing songs like, Sunrise Over the Olympus Mons. It wasn't about, like lovey-dovey, like butterflies in my head and shit. It was about the real, it's about the real deal. It's about, doing anything you possibly can to make this work. And that's really amazing to me, man. And so to be able to sing about this stuff, I feel more knowledgeable. I remember when we said I do to get married. I felt like 1,000,000 pounds. I mean, I probably got like 9 inches taller. But I did. I felt like just like this weight and this trouble and there's all the bullshit of relationships that I've experienced. It was nice not to have that anymore, and feel like you were in the hands of somebody that truly, without a doubt, cared about
me. Thank you so much.
No, hey, thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
It will help us fool ourselves into believing we'd even score, losing our souls, and you could